out-of-body experience. Welcome to the Brothers of Wrestling podcast.
Welcome back to the Brothers of Wrestling podcast with your host Logan and
Hayden.
And today we bring you a wrestling rewind, but we are doing something special for this wrestling rewind. We are going back to the temple. Lucha Underground was a fantastic company that was run for a few years back in like 2014, 2015, 2016, that era of time. And they ran on El Rey Network and they went away in like 2017. And everybody was wanting Lucha Underground content back in their lives. And now uploading on YouTube is Lucha Underground. The whole series, we think, the whole series is being uploaded onto YouTube. And me and Hade went back and we watched the first episode and we want to talk about it. And Hade has some more details about this episode and all the kind of stuff like that. But I'm so happy Lucha Underground's back.
Yes, oh, for sure. And Lucha Underground was one of those things where you didn't really know what you had when you had it.
No, we didn't. We just loved it.
Yeah. We kind of got into it about halfway through the first season, and then we went back and watched the whole thing. We stayed with it mostly through season 3.
Yeah, I kind of fell out in the end there.
And then about the end of 2016, they had a lot of legal problems and things of that nature.
I still haven't even finished the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. So hopefully during the series we'll finish the whole thing. Actually, I mean, I know what happens through the whole thing, but actually get to go through and see everything that happened. One of the big things about Lucha Underground that made it so unique was that it was owned by what's the director's name?
Dario Cueto?
No. In reality, not in the TV show.
Okay.
Rich Rodriguez, I think. No.
Oh, no.
Let me think. I gotta look it up now. It's gonna kill me if I don't remember. He does a lot. He's a director. Robert Rodriguez. I was close.
Rich Rod's a football coach.
I know. Mixing up my Rodriguez's. Robert Rodriguez, famous for a lot of different movies. Kind of has that Quentin Tarantino style of movies. He helped found El Rey Network, and then they ended up getting into business with this Lucha Underground, basically through AAA. The big thing about Lucha Underground was that it was set as a episodic TV series.
Yeah, it was so awesome.
Not a wrestling, like not your prototypical wrestling show.
No, they did.
This was set. It was its own universe.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Characters. Yes, it had its own universe. People died. It wasn't based in our reality. Yeah. It was based in
That's how they wrote people off of TV. They killed them.
Yes. So there was, it was a whole different dynamic that never really had been done in wrestling.
It was such a unique concept too.
Yeah, and it brought that style of like the Mexican soap opera.
True.
Into wrestling, and that's what made it.
And it worked. I liked it.
Yes, and it made it so unique and different. That you just really latched onto it if you got into it at that time. We are going to start with episode 1. It's called Welcome to the Temple. And it debuted originally October 29th, 2014. It's so long ago, I don't know how to say that. So 2014, you had the commentators on all the Lucha Undergrounds I remember.
Well, there's a point where later in season 2, I think Vampiro turns heel and then doesn't do commentary for like a week or two because he's in the matches.
But still, the commentators are Matt Striker and Vampiro, which Vampiro is one of those things that he just makes you.
Well, yeah, Vampiro is an acquired taste on commentary. You gotta really like him.
Yes, but he really gets the energy up in the for these matches, so that really helps some of these matches get going. So, do you have any thoughts before we start this series out?
My only thought would be that Lucha Underground is awesome and that Vampiro hates Conan.
Well, those are two, obviously. So we will get ready to dive into this first episode, and we're going to kind of lay it out and then give our thoughts of what we were thinking when we watched it. So we start out, and it starts out in like a training montage. You have this guy getting attacked in a warehouse, and he starts fighting off these different
Yep.
guys. It doesn't really give you much explanation into it.
You don't need it. You're just like, you're just
No,
in right
you're
away.
just this guy's just obliterating these guys. It doesn't really tell you why he's obliterating these guys.
It starts out like a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of gives you that look of like we're just gonna do whatever we want here. So, yeah, it doesn't. It just says it has it comes up at the point where a guy comes up to him and says, follow me after he beats up all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's really where it goes. They explain the history
Yeah,
of
they
the
take you
tribes.
through a history of
Mhm.
like Mexican lore and stuff. Like they take you through
Yep.
all these tribes and things, and
Yep, they go deep into the seven ancient Aztec
yes,
tribes.
yeah.
So you get a kind of an explanation of all that stuff, and then lucha libre wrestling basically, and you get a bunch of clips
And then they
of
show
lucha libre wrestling.
Dario, who's the owner of this in the story. They show him showing up in, was it AAA that he showed up in?
Yeah, so he shows up at Triple Mania 2013, and he introduces the show.
We
So
should go
he,
back and watch that episode to see what happens.
yeah, so basically he just kind of says, he's explaining the idea of Lucha Underground, and he says he's bringing the best fighters in the world to his temple,
And he's got that
um,
briefcase.
which is in Boyle Heights, and he wants them to compete to see who is the greatest luchador and fighter in the world. Is basically the idea of the promo. So then we get some clips of different luchadors kind of coming out
They're entering the
and
temple. They're
yeah,
answering the
they're
call.
heading to the tempo. We get introduced to the tempo, which is one of
Temple.
my favorite things. What? Oh,
You're
I
say,
said tempo.
you're saying tempo.
We get introduced to the temple. Sorry, I'm excited. And it's such a unique, intimate
It's a
environment.
very awesome atmosphere. It's
Um,
everybody's so close to the ring. And one
mm-hmm,
thing that we'll talk about more as the episodes go on, they mic'd up the ring to a point where
mm-hmm.
every Ray Phoenix super kick sounds like a shotgun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Everything is so over exaggerated.
They did such but that's
Um,
something that nobody else does. Like the mic'd ring is such a good idea.
Yeah, because it just gives you such a much more hard hitting feel. It brings you that style of like when you watch like some of those like mid 2000s New Japan matches when they really were trying to introduce the strong style,
Hmm.
and the goal is to hear every single shot,
Yeah,
and every shot is just dramatic, and
and
you
Ray
hear
Phoenix
it
made you
hit,
feel it.
and you hear the knees, and like you hear all the kicks, all the splashes on the mat is just so amplified. It's
Especially
crazy.
in that temple too. It was such a
Yeah, and it's such a cool
acoustic
environment.
place.
They got the office off to the side, Dario Cueto's
Yep,
office, and then the fans actually sit on the stairs, kind of like what would you call
like a
that?
gymnasium, like a
Yeah, kind of like a stair step kind of idea
yeah.
for the
So there's
steps.
two. So if you're looking at the ring from camera view, from the main camera view, you got the stairs directly behind the ring that go up to the top of the temple with fans on either side on like wooden bench things, like wooden
Hmm.
bleachers. And
Yeah,
then
bleachers is the word I was looking
and
for.
then
Yes.
left of the ring towards where the commentary table is with Stryker and Vampiro is another set of stairs and the entrance to
Hmm.
where the people come out of the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's the other cool thing. There's two different entrances. They have the faces come out through the crowd down the
Yep.
steps, and then some of the heels come out through this little tunnel area that's off to the side.
Yeah,
So that's how you separate it.
and there's a top
Um,
portion of of the tunnel where eventually people will jump off of.
oh yeah, of course. Well, yeah, it's Lucha. So anyway, so Dario Cueto opens the show, comes out, got the briefcase.
Yep.
Basically, the promo is, "Hey, I'm inviting all the fighters here, and I want someone to explain, or he's explaining that he wants someone to show him why they're the best one that's coming into Lucha Underground." And basically, the overall line through the whole first episode is he's giving away the how much was it,
Yes,
$100,000
$100,000.
bonus for whoever impresses him the most tonight.
Yeah, he'll decide at the end of the
Um,
night. Yep.
yeah. So that was his big thing. some of the key things that get pointed out early is on commentary, Vampiro talks about how he's not Mexican, he's a Spaniard,
He's not
which
Mexican.
I love that part when he says that.
Yeah,
And
but he's a
so,
lucha legend, though.
yeah, but that is used to show you're supposed to take that as like he's not one of us.
Yeah.
Yes, he started this thing, but he's coming in under false pretenses that they're giving you the idea that this guy's slimy from the very beginning.
Okay.
Like they're showing you, hey, this guy's going to be someone that you can't really trust throughout this entire show. The other thing that gets pointed out, they don't really talk about it when he's out there. But he has that giant key around his neck that becomes such a focal point later. But they don't really.
They don't talk. It's not a focal point. Yeah, it's not a focal point yet.
But it's fun going back to look when you know like some of the things that are going to happen in the future. That how important that's going to be.
Oh yeah.
That they really had that on full display. The first episode, you didn't even realize it really.
Should we?
So I thought that was cool.
Should we give a little breakdown of Vampiro's career, just to like why he's involved in this in the first place?
I mean, if you are listening to this podcast and you don't know who Vampiro is,
okay, I just wanted to make
he's
sure.
He's a legend in Mexico. He's Canadian. That's the best part about Vampiro. Canadian, came in, got really hot in Mexico. Most people in America know him from his WCW run.
Yeah, that big run with Sting, which
wasn't
didn't really
amazing. It kind of was a lackluster. Most people remember his match with Sting in the Human Torch match, setting Sting on fire. That was probably his biggest feud. Yeah. But in Mexico, he was one of the biggest stars. He was on soap operas. He did commercials. He advertised things. Like, he was a humongous star. Him and Conan were like the real big-time names.
Not Conan.
In Mexico that really built up Lucha Libre wrestling when it was at a lower point when they kind of had split off from CMLL and AAA split off of Conan. Those kind of guys were kind of really in their prime at that point. So Vampiro's got that knowledge and that expertise.
Yeah. And Matt Striker's just a bitter ex-WWE employee who got fired by them and now does commentary for him.
Yeah, and he's definitely still in WWE mode in this.
Yeah, he's very WWE play-by-play.
Yeah, a lot of classic WWE cliches.
And he even hits with a Cena joke in the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, all right, so let's start. So we get the opening promo, and that's a good solid start. He's giving
he basically just
for the first episode.
He just explains what's going on. That's what you want.
Yeah, and so that's your introduction. So now you get the first match. You get Blue Demon Jr., legend, versus Chavo Guerrero Jr., legend.
Ooh, Chavo.
No, I like that they started with a legend match, but it sucked.
Yeah, it's not great. It's like 5 minutes.
Match is horrible. I mean, Blue Demon couldn't wrestle at this point anymore. Chavo looked like he was on his last legs. I mean, they're legends. I'm not.
And eventually, Chavo will retire and go on to be a producer.
Yeah. So, which he sucks at that too. So that's fine. But
I didn't know this was hate on Chavo Day.
Well, Chavo sucks, so he always just likes to latch on to other people. But that's beside the point. Match sucked. Not sure 100% why you'd want to start your debut episode with this match.
Well, Dario says it when he goes and does the backstage thing with Chavo in the locker room. He tells him that he wanted to start with two legends because they're two of the best families in Mexican luchador history.
Guess what? It sucked.
And Chavo let him down. He thought he was going to win.
So it sucked. It was horrible. So it is what it is. So you get that match. Blue Demon Jr. wins. Taps him out. Taps him out in the sharpshooter. And not much to say about it. Neither of those guys are winning the 100,000, even though Matt Striker's making you feel like they were going to. You move on, and you get the big. What would you call it?
It's the thread throughout the episode.
Scene. Yeah, and you get Cueto in his office, and he's talking to Conan.
Of course he is.
And Conan's talking about how he's bringing in his guy, the hottest free agent in the business.
Yep.
That he's going to bring in and take over the temple.
But then Dario says that he signed a hot free agent.
Mm-hmm, yep. So he brings in his own guy, and they're going to face off tonight in the main event. And so we find out that it's Johnny Mundo that he brought in.
Yeah, because he's doing his weird pull-ups on the bar or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So he says he's bringing Johnny Mundo. They talk about it at the beginning of the match that he hasn't wrestled in 3 years. So rewatching that, I was thinking like he didn't do anything in between WWE and this, but I'm sure he did some independent
Yeah, he
stuff.
probably did. They just didn't want to talk about it.
But I think for mainstream TV is what they were going for because he left around 2011 in WWE, and this is 2014. So that tells me they were just going for the mainstream
Yep.
kind of TV.
Yeah, he probably
stuff,
did some independent stuff, definitely.
So you get that segment with and you can tell there's going to be a power dynamic there.
Yep.
Because Cueto's kind of talking down to Conan, but Conan's kind of kind of blowing him off like, you're not that hot stuff. I'm not super concerned about you. Blah blah blah. I'm going to show you that my guy's going to be a bigger threat than anybody you bring in. So that's kind of where we see that dynamic go. We get Stryker hyping the debut of Mundo, and then they finally talk about Puma, Prince Puma, who's the hot free agent of Conan.
Yep, he's the Conan's guy.
Yep, they give him
he gets the whole video package.
Yeah, he gets the video package. They go through the Aztec tribalism that he's from, that what he's coming down through, all the generations that is leading to him.
Yep.
They talk about his bloodline, all that stuff. So they kind of give you a good little intro into the Puma character before they get ready for this main event match tonight. Then we get the next match on the card. They have Son of Havoc, and then they have the debut of Sexy Star.
Now, because if people don't know, Lucha Underground is not just all original AAA luchadors. They did bring in some talent that put on mask and became luchadors for the show. And so should we go through some of these, like when we talk about them, and say that these guys are actual mask luchadors, or these guys just came in and put masks on? Do you want to? Because Son of Havoc is one of those guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about each guy. Like Son of Havoc is just an independent guy, Matt Cross.
Yes.
He's coming in here. They put the mask on him to give him the character, and that's what they like to do with a lot of the lower level guys.
Yeah, and it was cool because it worked for some of them.
Yeah, because you're trying to get these guys introduced as a character, because that's what it was, a TV show. It wasn't a wrestling company, if you think about it like that. So they're trying to get these guys in. They're not just going to bring you in as your regular person. Now they did for some people. It just depends on how big a name you had. So yeah, they bring in Matt Cross. He was lower level independent guy at the time. I mean,
Ricochet is Puma.
He was doing some stuff. Yeah, well, we'll talk about Ricochet when we get to the main event. But yeah, so Matt Cross was coming in as Son of Havoc. I think they were talking about how he was. How they describe him.
Well, they say he's from the open road.
Yes, the open road. He's like this biker guy, motorcycle guy, from the open road. That's right. That's how they say it. And he comes in, and then they introduce Sexy Star.
Yes.
Which at this point, Sexy Star is a pretty big name in AAA. So she's coming in. She's been doing some stuff in AAA. So they give her a pretty good video package before the match, kind of introducing you to her background.
And she's all about she's all about the girl power. She's all about women can do anything that men can do. That's her kind of thing.
And one of her big things throughout Lucha is that she will fight the guys and be
which is cool. I like when companies do that. WWE is the only company that doesn't do that.
Yeah, she doesn't do a ton of like just the traditional female on female.
No, she's really wrestling other women.
Yeah, she's usually in the male matches. So they give her a good introduction. They really are. You can tell they're trying to push her as a big name to start out with. That's coming over from AAA. So they start the match out, and you get
Son of Havoc cuts a promo.
Yeah, well, he says he doesn't want to wrestle a woman.
Yeah,
basically is how it starts out, and she just kind of pretends like she's going to leave.
They start to count out.
Yeah, they start to count out, and then she runs back in, attacks him. He tries to take her out with a few moves, but she gets a little bit of advantage. But then eventually he cheats.
I think he rolled the tights.
Yeah, and pulls the tights at the end for the pin.
Well, then
Hits
he
the
also
backbreaker on her,
hits the backbreaker. Yep.
and takes her out. It was short, not horrible. You're kind of just introducing the characters in this first episode,
Mhm.
so you're not expecting crazy matches to begin with. And
Lucha,
like these guys aren't going to be main event guys right off the bat, so you're just introducing the characters to people.
and Lucha Underground is only an hour long, so they only have, I think, 3 matches an episode plus the
Yeah, more or
cinematic
less.
segments that they do.
Yeah. So then we get to the thing you were talking about, because you're always jumping the gun, with Chavo sitting in the locker room. He sits back there. He doesn't say anything. He's just sitting there thinking, and Dario comes in and gives him the crap about how he sucked, blah blah blah, how he was disappointing. He's not going to win the $100,000 and all that stuff. And he really kind of chastises Chavo and mocks his legacy, how he's kind of the weak link of the Guerrero name.
Yeah.
And
he says, "What would your grandfather think? What would your uncle think?"
Yeah. And then Cueto drops the great line, how he's going to bring in an opponent to take out Demon Jr. next week, and he gives the great line, 1,000 deaths may be coming for us all, which is a classic, great setup line.
It introduces one of the greatest characters in Lucha Underground history.
One of the greatest characters in Lucha. So we'll get to that next time. But you get Cueto kind of given that underlying. Cueto is such a good character because he would threaten you with a smile. He's giving you this little.
He's one of those bad guys.
He's not yelling at you. He's just he's so threatening, and so that's kind of where this segment. These segments in this first episode are really trying to build up Cueto, and give you kind of an idea of what kind of character this really is.
He's basically like a Call of Duty villain. If anybody's ever played any of the Call of Duty campaigns, all the villains are like Dario Cueto.
Yeah, he's just he's that intimidating, underlying, like, I'm going to kill you, but I don't have to do it myself. I've got money, that kind of guy. So then we move on to the main event. We got Johnny Mundo taking on Prince Puma, and Conan's in his corner out there.
Yep.
Now, like you said earlier, again, jumping the gun, you. We get Prince Puma coming out, and we know he's Ricochet. At this time, Ricochet wasn't that big a name.
He had done some PWG stuff, and
he did PWG. He did a few things in New Japan, had a few tours over there. But really, Ricochet wasn't that big of a name.
No,
he was starting to becoming that talk of like a hot young free agent.
Yeah, and then this would catapult him into his contract with NXT and stuff.
But this is what really put Ricochet on the map in the matches he has in Lucha. So we get him coming out. We got Mundo coming out, and it's a couple. These guys are both in this beginning episode faces.
Yes.
So this is going to be more your athletic match.
Which is weird because I'm not used to having Johnny Mundo be a face.
Yeah. And we get some crazy spots in this match.
Yeah.
Really, it's really used to show off Puma a lot. Because you know what Mundo's bringing you to the table.
Yeah, he's done it for years.
A ton of athleticism. He's bringing you a ton of great moves, some high-flying moves. But really, this match was to show off Puma and what he can do. Now, one of the key traits of Puma at the start is he doesn't talk.
Yes,
so that's why he has Conan with him.
his mouthpiece.
So he never talks ever.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Well, now we know now that it is. But so he's out there. They do some crazy moves. We get some of the classic Mundo spots. I think at one point he hits. What's he called? Is it not Starship Pain? What's the other one called? The Drive. What's he called?
Well, he called it Moonlight Drive in WWE.
Yeah,
but I don't remember what he calls it in Lucha.
I mean, he hits that move. He tries to hit the springboard. How do you describe that one? Where he does the cross leg moonsault.
That's Starship Pain.
No, not that one. No. This is the one where he jumps up on the top, and then he hits the
his cross-legged corkscrew thing.
No, not the one where he lands on the ropes with the legs. This is the one where he jumps up there and then he hits like the moonsault, but it's not.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what he calls it.
He hits him with like the knee. I forget how to describe it. But he lands on his feet on that one, and God dang, that's gonna bother me what that's called. Yeah, it's not the Starship Pain where he jumps up and does like the split leg
The thing that
moonsault
Naomi
where he
does.
bounces off the ropes. Yeah, not that one. There's another one he does where he like springboards on there and then does like
Okay.
a flip. I guess it's like a 450 kind of, but anyway, it doesn't matter. He does. Puma dodges that. We get great back and forth stuff.
It's a good match.
Puma really shows off in this match. They really do give him the time to shine. And this really takes a lot of the show. I think they take a couple commercial breaks.
It's definitely like 15 minutes,
match.
I think.
So they have a lot of great stuff. Eventually, it comes down to Mundo counters and ends up hitting the Moonlight Drive. Forgot it for a second. And then he ends up pulling him over and hitting the Starship Pain. Pins him. 1, 2, 3. Mundo gets the win, which makes sense.
Yeah, because
Mundo the big win to establish him.
Said that he was going to give him the money anyway, so
yeah. Well, so you give Mundo the win, you establish, but you use the whole match to build up Puma. You give Mundo the big win there, and so you've built two guys now that can be main eventers. So we get them in the ring, and they're shaking hands, and they kind of both look at each other, like, hey, good match, good match. We don't get any like heel turn there or anything. And then Cueto comes out. And Cueto congratulates Mundo.
And before every time Cueto comes out, he has a signature sound that plays. It's like a it's like a noise. Yeah.
yeah. It's that little it's almost like a king coming out to greet his subjects in like old in those kind of old movies where like the guy will blow the giant horn.
Yeah.
Right before he walks out. It's that same kind of idea. So as soon as you hear that, Cueto's coming out to do something. So he gets in the ring. He congratulates Mundo, says it was an amazing match, blah, blah, blah. And Mundo starts reaching for the briefcase, and he kind of pulls it back.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden we get three dudes.
At first it's just two.
It's two, that's right. Two guys come out, jump him, and they take out Puma, and they take out Mundo. Cueto's yelling at him, and all of a sudden we see the former Ezekiel Jackson from WWE. Here he's called Big Rick.
Last ECW champion.
Yes, last ECW champion. Comes into the ring, and Cueto kind of goes on this rant about how you thought that like this place was only going to be for luchadors and only going to be for high-flying guys and in Mexican town and stuff like that.
Well, Stryker says when the two guys are beating up Puma and Mundo, he says the door's open to anybody.
Yeah, so they're kind of telling you that this isn't just going to be luchadors. This isn't just going to be like big time, like high flying guys. This is going to be everybody who's available could be showing up in Lucha Underground. And then eventually we get the Cueto tactical heel turn because he was kind of implied.
Yeah, he's always a heel.
Yeah, but it was never like he never did anything at the beginning of this episode to say I'm a heel.
No,
this was the moment where you're like, okay, we know for sure this guy's not a good guy.
It's more of a confirmation,
basically. And so then we get him giving the briefcase to Big Rick.
Big Rick shirtless, by the way.
Well, of course he is. I don't think I've ever seen him in a shirt.
I think he wears a couple
beater.
Yeah, a couple white beaters.
But I don't think I've ever seen him in an actual shirt before. So he comes out, he takes them both out, and then he gets the money. Cueto gives him the money, and basically they're kind of implying that this group is now Cueto's kind of like hitmen.
Yeah, there's like bodyguard
for the future,
and they play Big Rick. They play Big Rick like a cartel boss basically. He's like in charge of the muscle.
He's coming in, all he wants is the money.
Yeah,
that's his whole character. He's coming in there, all he wants is money. He doesn't really care about anything else. So yeah, we kind of end that episode. We end your first episode with Cueto standing in the ring with Rick and the other two guys, and that's kind of where we get. I mean, they don't give you a ton of stuff.
It was just enough, enough of a taste.
Yeah, and they give you the great opening. The 2 matches to start with, not amazing.
They're whatever.
But you're just trying to establish a couple things. It's your first episode.
It's more about the storylines with Conan and Cueto in the office, and then the backstories with Puma and Sexy
But then,
Star.
like most Lucha Underground episodes, they give you one banger of a match.
Yep.
And that's what the Puma Mundo match is.
Yeah, we will come to find that doing this recap of every episode, we'll come to find that every episode has like one good match.
Yeah, and that's just kind of how it is. They really play it off, and to be fair to them, that's kind of, if you're doing a TV show, that's what you want, because most of what they're trying to do is build these storylines, and then once the storylines are done, it's like, okay,
we actually have to wrestle.
let's have that one match that keeps the wrestling fans invested and keeps the hardcore people that want to see the wrestling in there. And when you had the athletes that they were pulling out here, and we'll see throughout further episodes, the kind of guys that were coming in there at the time, you're gonna be, it's not gonna be hard for you to put on good matches, basically. So they don't really do anything they never really previewed the next week. Sometimes they would talk to you, tell you a few things. But we know for sure that he said that he was bringing in the guy to take out Demon next week.
Yep. That's really the only thing they previewed.
He teased the 1,000 deaths. If you know, you know. And then basically they just kind of played it as, we'll see what happens next week with Puma and Mundo versus this group that came in. So now we got Mundo and Puma on the same team because they both got taken out, and we'll see where that goes going into next week to see what happens when they face this new group. So good episode. It did what you needed a debut episode to do. It explained what's happening. It told you the basic through line of the whole show. Gave you your villains. That's why I said this is a totally different experience than a wrestling show. This is a TV show. And that's what a good opening TV show does. It introduces your heroes, it introduces your villains, and then gives you a through line this is kind of what this whole first season's leading to. And they do a great job of doing that. They give you your villain in Cueto, and then they, give them the backup. They show you Mundo and Puma are kind of going to be your two, big time faces. They're going to have to take on this threat. And then they give you some of the supporting characters, give you a couple threads here and there, the Cueto Conan thing, Vampiro trashing Conan every chance on commentary he gets. They give you the through line of like debuting a Sexy Star who's starting at the bottom, and then she's, going to try to work her way up. They give you the disgruntled Chavo that's on his last legs and doesn't know where he's going to go from here. They really play into all those different pieces. So yeah, it's a good debut episode, and it really is putting you in a good spot going into the future of Lucha. What they're trying to build up, but it's a smart episode, and especially with introducing Puma and the threat of Cueto, that he can kind of do whatever he wants because it's his. Mm-hmm. He runs the entire thing. It makes you wonder how they're gonna advance on this. So. But yeah, you got any closing thoughts on the first episode?
I thought the episode was pretty good. It does, like you said, it does everything that a first episode needs to do. And there's one thing that we didn't talk about that doesn't have anything to do with the episode, but now that we finished talking about that, we need to talk about whoever's uploading these videos and why they're doing AI thumbnails.
Yeah, so the videos are going up on the official Lucha Underground YouTube page. I really don't know if El Rey has anything to do with putting them out there. I assume El Rey still has the rights for Lucha Underground.
I would think so.
So maybe they came to some kind of agreement. But the AI thumbnails they're using for this are atrocious. Sadly atrocious.
They're not even looking like Puma.
No. Like they even had Mundo on there, and he kind of looked like Mundo, but
from a distance you can tell that it's Mundo.
But it is what it is. I'm wondering if they have the rights to Lucha Underground. I did see they've just uploaded 3 so far, and I did just see the third one, and it looks like they went more on that one with a image from the actual episode.
I haven't seen it yet. Let me see what it looks like.
because it's a future one of my favorites. It's
Lucha Underground.
Drago.
Okay, oh, I have
So,
seen this one. Yep. Yeah, that one looks.
So I think that's from the actual episode. So
Uh,
they might have been switching it up. They probably were just trying something and then
yeah, that
seeing
looks
how
like
it
from his entrance.
worked out. But
the
yeah,
the
they
first
were definitely
episode, the Puma one looks horrible.
well, no, because I had saw it first that they were uploading them finally, because we got that teaser like 2 months ago.
Yeah, on Twitter. Yeah,
about it, that they were like the Lucha Underground YouTube page sent out that teaser, and so we were talking about it, and then I saw a couple weeks ago that they put the first episode on there, and I said, "Hey, do you know who this is?" And you looked at the picture, and you're like I think it's Puma. It's like didn't even look like Puma. It had no no affiliation with Puma.
The only way I knew what it was is because the color scheme of his mask and outfit
Yeah.
was somewhat similar to what Puma wears.
Yeah, it was a rough picture. So,
but then the one that they changed it to was even worse.
Yeah, well, they had like Mundo wearing things like he would never wear. It didn't like make any sense whatsoever.
I would have kept the first one they had. This one looks horrible.
Yeah, so it just was. It was very weird overall.
The YouTube version of this episode, I may take a screenshot of the thumbnail and just show it to everybody because it's horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So, but yeah, so I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited to go through and actually get to like season 4.
Yeah, if we finish this out, we'll finally finish Lucha Underground, which we've never done.
Yeah, and one of the big things too is when we get to different sections, we'll talk about some of the controversies that happened, some of the behind the scenes stuff that got played out in the media.
You're not very big fan of Sexy Star.
Sexy Star had her problems once Lucha Underground was over, so those are the things we'll talk about in time. Lucha Underground holding contracts of wrestlers so they couldn't wrestle anywhere.
That was pretty rough.
There's a lot of bad stuff that happened once. Like Lucha Underground hit a huge peak in season 3, and then it died. Because
all their big talent was getting signed.
They had a lot of backstage problems. They had one of your favorite guys, El Patron, had problems while he was there.
Yeah, one of my favorite guys.
one of your top 5s. El Patron, baby. And, they had a lot of other problems. They had a lot of contract disputes. They had a lot of filming problems. Season 4 takes place like a year and a half after,
very strange.
Airing after the season 3. It just, a lot of problems backstage that led to the demise of Lucha Underground. Money problems. So we'll talk about all that stuff in time, but it's fun to dive back into the Lucha Underground world because it's such a fun world to be in.
Yeah, when it was at its peak, it's like WCW. Yeah. When it was at its peak, it was at its peak.
Like halfway through season 1, once they get more guys introduced.
Yeah, once they establish everybody.
For halfway through season 1 to just about the end of season 3, that is peak Lucha Underground.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially the second half of season 1 is some of the best wrestling matches, some of the best wrestling moments.
Cinematic stuff.
The cinematic stuff they do is amazing. The storylines they have are amazing. It's going to be really fun to dive back in and remember how we reacted then and see how we react rewatching it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a fun little thing too. And maybe remembering some things we forgot about. So yeah, I'm really excited for this journey, and I hope everybody that's a big Lucha Underground fan is excited to go on this ride with us.
Yep.
So.
And to close out, we might as well end with what came after Lucha Underground every week after they were done on El Rey Network. Yeah. Red versus Blue.
Red versus Blue, one of the greatest weird El Rey Network shows. I think it started on a different network.
Maybe.
But Red versus Blue was just...
It always aired after Lucha Underground.
It was a very fever dream of a show. It was basically... what was that game? Halo?
The Halo games.
Yeah, it was Halo. And it was just like such a spoof shoot.
Yeah, if you've never heard, it's basically like Robot Chicken.
Pretty much of the Halo series.
If you've never heard Red vs. Blue, just Google it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, see if you can find a clip somewhere. There's some great stuff. Sarge was my favorite. I forget what they called him in the show, but he was my favorite. So.
All right, well, that has been our recap of Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 1, Welcome to the Temple. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave us a like, leave us a follow on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube, and then follow us on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everything where you can keep up with us and know what we're going to be doing next. And we will see you in the next one.
Peace.